appropriations on an annual basis, only 2 out of 5 years. House File 2359, which the governor is about to sign today, will finally create a sustainable, reliable source of funding for the trust fund. It'll put between $2 and $3 million in the trust fund annually until it's full, and it will do this through the earnings generated by 2 scratch-off and 2 pull-tab lottery tickets. And I want to thank Governor Culver for his steadfast support of veterans and of this bill. Thank you, Governor.
Representative Bailey, for the very kind introduction and for your leadership on this important piece of legislation and a lot of others, especially those pertaining to our veterans. I also want to recognize Senator Danielson, who worked in the Senate as well. We have a number of distinguished legislators with us, including the President of the Senate, Jack Kibbe, is here, also a veteran, and Ray Zirkelbach as well, a veteran from the 133rd, who is also serving in the legislature. So it's no accident with these great veterans who are now serving our state after serving their country and our nation, are leading the charge here at the Capitol to push us all forward when it comes to standing up and getting behind important public policy that will help our veterans. So I really want to thank all of the legislators, the veteran legislators in particular, for their great work, and look forward to celebrating with each and every one of them and sharing in this bill signing ceremony today, and making sure each of them get an important pin as well. I want to also thank the Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs for your public service and your hard work. I understand that the Iowa Veterans Council is having a quarterly meeting here today, and that worked out well. We're glad that you could be a part of this ceremony. We welcome you to the Capitol. And we also thank those that helped establish the Veterans Trust Fund. And as McKinley said, that's critically important that we have sustainable funding for it. Iowa veterans have served with dignity and distinction and with excellence. And all veterans have the gratitude and respect of Iowa citizens. I think it's appropriate that we're here in the Kennedy Conference Room today. As you can see, this is the new and improved Kennedy Conference Room. When I took office, there were no pictures of President Kennedy in here, so I decided that we would spruce it up a little bit. And he was a great American, a great veteran, and a quote that I've used pretty regularly related to our veterans is as follows, and it's from President Kennedy. And he said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." And that is certainly what we're doing here today. We're backing up the talk with an important public policy step that will improve the lives of our veterans. And my administration has been committed to walking the walk and doing all we can to help our veterans. Since I took office in January 2007, we signed Executive Order number 1, my first executive order as governor, ordering all flags to be lowered to half staff each time an Iowan is killed in action. And we increased the injured veterans assistance funding for Iowa's veterans who were injured in the combat zone since September 11th, 2001. We have put more than $4 million into just injury assistance and housing assistance for our returning veterans since I've taken office. In addition, we offer up to $5,000 in homeowners assistance for eligible members of the armed forces, and this has really helped in terms of quality of life and helping those veterans and their families achieve, in many cases, the American dream by purchasing their first house. We also stood up for our Vietnam veterans, and we fought to make sure they finally get the bonus pay that they didn't get, but were promised decades ago. And we did that last session as well. We're still reaching out to those Vietnam veterans who didn't receive their bonus payment, and we're making sure that they get it. This session, the legislature passed and I signed House File 2065, which allows all Iowa veterans and service members the ability to return to their careers that they left behind when they are being called to serve our country. Many of them were, when they returned, they found that they didn't have the same job, they had a different job. It was sometimes at a lower pay, lower salary, and we passed a state law that will preclude that from happening again. In addition, we've proposed $20 million in state funding to be used to leverage $65 million in federal funds for a new $100 million reconstruction project at the Iowa Veterans Home. It's going to be one of the very best in the nation, and I believe our veterans deserve to have the very best services and the very best living conditions there at the Veterans Home. When complete, we will take pride in knowing that Iowa will be home to one of the very best veterans homes in the entire nation. And today we take another step to improve the quality of life for our veterans and their families. The Iowa Lottery has been a bipartisan success story since its creation in 1985. Since that time, over $1 billion has been raised for state programs. And as a result, the lottery is making a real difference in terms of giving things back to our state. Now the lottery revenues will be used to support our hometown heroes, Iowa's veterans. House File 2359 allows for the annual creation of 2 scratch tickets and 2 new pull tabs, with the proceeds from the sale of these games to go to benefit veterans, spouses, and their dependents through the Veterans Trust Fund. This legislation could produce revenues up to $3 million for the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund. If and when the balance of the Veterans Trust Fund reaches $50 million, the remaining new income will be distributed to the 99 county Veterans Affairs offices. This money is in addition to the regular funds provided by the counties to these offices. Today, once again, we're locking arms, we're putting partisan politics aside, and we're fighting the good fight for those who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces. I believe that President Kennedy would be proud of this important step, because we are trying to continue to show our gratitude and appreciation for those who have served. So in times of sometimes difficult budget decisions, one thing is clear: we will always stand up for our veterans. So thanks again to all the legislators that have joined us. We're really honored by your presence here. We know you've got very busy schedules. To the citizens, to the veterans organizations, to everyone that helped us, to the lottery, 239, House File 2359, I should say, would not have been possible without the folks in this room. Most importantly, thanks to every Iowa veteran for your service to our state and to our country, and I will now sign the bill. Thank you.